Hello, YouTube. It's Trace Face. Excuse my appearance. I'm in my robe right now, rocking on my porch here, having a tea. I'm gonna go out in a little bit with a friend, but trying to relax a little bit. My friend got married last night, or yesterday, and I did her beautiful wedding party, and my eyes are so puffy, I can't even look at them right now because I'm just so tired because I got to her house. I had a very late night on Friday, and then I had to get to her house yesterday at 7 o'clock in the morning to do what I thought was going to be 7 girls' makeup in her wedding party, and it ended up only being 5, which was great. So, but I did want to talk about her for a minute. I had tears in my eyes yesterday just watching her. I have been friends with her since we were literally I was literally probably 3 years old, 4 years old. And we went to grammar school together, and her mother was my preschool teacher and my cheerleading coach with her. We were on the squad together, and we went to high school together. And she actually started dating some people within the Providence music scene when I was in college. So we started hanging out again when I was in college. So I have literally seen her at every single stage of her life. So to see her where she is now is just, it's amazing. And here is a person that I can tell you I watched struggle in toxic, narcissistic, addiction-based relationships, one after another after another. It started with this one this bad boy she was into when she was 16 years old, and she just got used to this thing. And, her and I had candid conversations, and we've spoken about, it could have been a lot of neglect, from our fathers when we were younger. Our fathers worked a lot, weren't home a lot. That could have something to do with it. But I think a lot of times, to look even deeper into that, I think that it has to do a little bit more with the fact that we try to give people, we have big hearts, and we're very compassionate, and we try to give people a chance, and we try to forgive. And, these are things that we were taught going to Catholic school, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to actually, it was interesting. I introduced her to her husband. Her husband was working with my brother, and he was very interested in her. And she was like really not interested in him at first because she was still involved with another. She was involved with another jerk. It was like her 3rd or 4th jerk. And she was so in the thick of it, she couldn't see her way out. And it ended up that, a few weeks into it, he just kept chasing her. God bless him. He just kept up, with the chase. And he stayed persistent on the course. And it worked, because about a few weeks later, I remember her calling me and saying, like, well, tell me more about him. And she was living in New York at the time. And so it was this long distance relationship they had for like the first year. But she ended up seeing a good guy for his good qualities. He's the kind of person that can take care of a woman, wants to take care of a woman, feels masculine being able to do that. Has good qualities, has a good heart. Never ever would you get the feeling that you had to go through his phone when he'd get up. He didn't possess those qualities. So to see her blossom in these last 5 years that she has known him is so amazing. She looked more beautiful yesterday than I ever remember her being. Like, she's always a beautiful girl, but in these relationships, she had this face of like misery all the time. She was just, she was down a lot, and it really does affect your appearance. You think that, like, you look back at pictures and you can notice that you were going through these really rough times because you can see it. You can see it on your face. For me, when I am going through rough times, I can see it in my weight. I noticed in pictures, I can always tell when I was not blossoming, I was actually, getting worse and worse. And when I was doing really well, for me, I looked my best, and a lot of it for me had nothing to do with a man, and that was the best part about it, is that it was me trying to feel good and be healthy, for me, and it wasn't for anybody else's benefit, or trying to keep a man or save a relationship, And so anyway, what I wanted to say today is that these toxic relationships, if you really start to look at these things, like if you're still involved with a toxic partner, I encourage you to take a look at your lifestyle right now. These are some things to know that you're changing, and you're not changing in a good way. Take a look at how you look right now. Your appearance, as I'm looking at my ridiculous hair from the wedding last night, and I'm about to go take a shower, so I'm trying to get this video done before I go get ready. But anyway, what I'm saying is, look at your, do an assessment of yourself. You know yourself better than anybody, right? Ask yourself, how do I look right now? How do I feel, more or less? How do I feel about myself? When I did feel my best, what does that look like? Did I stop taking interest in the things that I once really liked to do? That's a real big indicator that you're not in a good relationship. Because when you have a really good partner and a really good support system, you want to continue on doing those things that you love. You have the energy to do that. Look at your energy levels. How are your energy levels? Are you feeling energetic, or are you feeling tired all the time? One of the biggest indicators for me, looking back, guys, I was exhausted all the time. All the time. I had no energy. I used to love to go to the gym and put on muscle and run and take classes and try different things because I was really into that. And when you're feeling beaten down in your psyche, in your spirit, in your soul, you don't have the energy. You can't blossom and bloom when you got somebody anchoring you down with their hatefulness and their misery that they exhibit. So you can't get, it's almost impossible to be your best self when you're dealing with a toxic partner. You can't. It's impossible. And even if you are still going to the gym or you're still eating healthy, something's going on deep down inside of you that is just not, you don't feel right. So I just ask you today, do an assessment on yourself. Remember the times that you were the most happy you've ever been. Recall those times. What was going on then? Who was in your life? What were you doing? What were you spending your time doing? Because I guarantee you, many of you will say, yeah, you're right, Trace. I was tired all the time. I wanted to eat crap and not, I didn't even want to try anymore. I gave up thinking about going back to school, or I gave up thinking about becoming a full-time musician, or whatever those were some of my goals I wanted to reach. And I just gave up. I just quit on me. And it's so bad. It's so bad to get to that place. And you don't ever want to get to that place. You have to stop some of this before it even starts. The last thing I want to say is, I believe when you have met the right person, you blossom. My friend looked so unbelievably beautiful yesterday because she feels beautiful from the inside out. He makes her feel beautiful. He accepts her for who she is, faults and all. He loves her. And every single one of you out there is deserving of that. Love yourself that way, first and foremost. Love yourself. Be in love with yourself like you've never been. And not in the narcissist's way. Because the narcissist's way of loving themselves is just selfish and prideful and lustful and dirty. We're not talking that. I'm talking love who you are. Get to that place that you do love what you see when you look in the mirror. And beauty really does resonate from within. It really does. That's where it starts. You could have the most perfect body, a size whatever waist. Okay, it doesn't matter. Some of those people I know are the most miserable people on the planet because it shows, because they don't feel beautiful inside. And that's where it's going to come from. That's where it's going to resonate from. How you feel about you. That's where beauty shines. I am Trace Face. It is time we all face the truth together. Please like, subscribe, if you haven't already, to my channel. That's the only way we're going to spread information out there to people that could use this information to keep them away from toxic partners and relationships and people in their life that they shouldn't have in their life. You got one life to live. Live it well. Live it to the best you could possibly live it. I'm Trace Face. It's time we all face the truth together.